It's a beautiful day. Let the children play. They ain't feeling no pain. It's a beautiful day. Wake up in the morning, it's a wonderful feeling. It's good to be living, feel it all in my spirit. Time to get it, got it.
Yo, what's up? It's Carl West back at you. Speak the truth with, guess who? Me, Carl West. Yep, here I am again. Another podcast coming directly at you. But in order for you to receive this podcast and all the other ones that will be recorded in the future and where you can go back and see our past content, I need you to subscribe. That's right. Thumbs up, like it, share it, do whatever you need to do, but make sure you first subscribe so you can get it in your inbox every time we drop this new content once a week. Look, this podcast is considered media, right? Print, television, photojournalism, PR, marketing firms all fall under the realm of media entities. Of course, television, movies, entertainment, big budget films, considered movies, considered media where they dispersing content. Even music is considered media, dispersing content in a scripted form, just like a movie or a television program. Most importantly, they are played or distributed on media platforms. So I want to talk about the multi-billion-dollar business of media. We saw it really up close and personal for those who are just consumers of the product. But we saw it up close and personal when Jimmy Kimmel was snatched off the air for making statements about a newly dead man, a personality to say the least, who has millions and millions of followers following him on his media platform. It demonstrated when we saw Jimmy Kimmel, which I already knew because I'm in the media business. I published a magazine right out of college 25 years ago or so. I produced a hip hop award show. At the same time, I had those two properties. And then I invested in digital platform 15 years ago. Now I'm investing in the podcast series and some other things that's coming out where storytelling will reign supreme. And I'm excited about it. Always been excited about it. Always knew the power and the influence of media, which is why I got into this business. I had a love for it when I saw John Johnson's Ebony and Jet. And then, of course, other things that I started witnessing and seeing in the media realm. But when Jimmy Kimmel was snatched off the air untimely, and when people started looking at how could this happen, why would this happen, what got him back on the air really was probably the fact that billions of dollars was lost in advertising revenue and donations and sponsorships that's attached to that show and its brand. They saw a significant loss in the billions of dollars. And Disney, who owns the Jimmy Kimmel Show on ABC 7 channels across the country, they did a wise choice, made a wise choice to protect their investors' image and their investors' pocketbooks. And so it was it was a great display of the power of this multi-billion-dollar industry called media, which I'm so happy to be a part of. It has been a good business for me, and I expect it to continue to be a good business for me as long as I'm in this business in some capacity. There's variations of media, as I just described early on, and I'm going to play a part in one or two of those variations of being in the media business. Because again, it's a great business to be in. It's a multi-billion-dollar business to be in. But you got to be able to create and distribute your own content to be an effective media proprietor. You got to be able to script, create, and distribute your own content. I didn't want to be just someone who produced content for other outlets. I wanted to create and distribute my content as I saw fit on select platforms that allowed me to have ownership and control and freedom to express what I wanted to express. But I'm going to tell you, man, when I'm watching this acquisition from Skydance, who once owned Paramount brands of outlets, television, radio, cable, network, massive. It was owned by the Sumner Redstone family. And they've made hundreds of billions of dollars over the years since owning that brand. And when Oracle's founder, his son, decided that he wanted to purchase Paramount through his Skydance company, I saw it. I saw the writings on the wall, man, of a monopoly being in the making. And not just the monopoly of media outlets, man, just the amount of cash that was going to come. I mean, he paid 20, 30 billion for the Paramount brands of that again consists of radio, television, film, digital, and now since that is done, the Paramount brand is solidified to be right in the hands of Skydance, the son of Oracle's founder. He is now saying, I want to own Warner Brothers Discovery, which is another major brand, maybe one of the top brands in filmmaking, television production, cable. They are about to control. They already put an offer in and it was rejected. But I believe that the offer will increase and it is destined that they get their hands on Warner Brothers Discovery to equal what they have with Paramount. And that's going to be a travesty if the federal government, which I'm sure they probably will allow them to own it, would be the most mass monopoly that we've ever seen in media history. You're talking about HBO, Showtime, MSNBC, CNN, not MSNBC, I'm sorry, CNN, and just so many other cable outlet stations. Like I said, Nickelodeon, BET. They're going to own so much media that getting your message out there is going to be almost impossible, especially if you are of the opposition of the ownership. And that ownership is on the right side of American politics. And you're talking about a distribution of a different kind of content over the next 10 years or more. I'm telling you, it's going to be a lot of money being made. That's first and foremost. This is about massive amount of wealth being accumulated through these entities, with Paramount, Skydance, and then Skydance attempting to own Warner Brothers Discovery. You're talking about massive wealth being accumulated and then passed on for generations to come. But what comes with that is going to be the amount of content that's going to go out to hundreds of millions and millions of people every single day, all day, that will be transforming the minds of everybody from young to old, because I just mentioned Nickelodeon is a part of that buy, those brands. It's a scary thing to think about. I'm telling you, it really is. Small media brands like mine and so many others will have opportunity to still critique and create content and distribute content through your own platforms. You will have that. Your website platforms, which I advise everybody to start getting. If you're going to be in this content space, you can't totally rely on YouTube and StreamYard and others. You're going to have a website that's owned by you, domain. You own all the domain. You own the intellectual properties, where you can distribute content at will, and hopefully you can find a mechanism in which to generate revenue from that. That's what I'm working on. In creating this podcast and the other titles that I'll have. This is Speak the Truth with Carl West. I got Image Maker Series. I got the CEO Exchange. Those are just two. I got West Side Stories, where I'm going to chronicle the lives of incredible people doing incredible things in communities and neighborhoods through video and audio. And so I advise you, man, if you in the media business in some capacity, and you want to have a place, an outlet, man, where to distribute your content, audio, visual, photography work, imagery, any kind of images, man, you better be plugging in your website to own a domain name and intellectual property, because that may be the only thing left you'll have where you can distribute content if Skydance get their way in owning, which they now own Paramount, and then they're going to own Warner Brothers Discovery, and Comcast also is a big player. I think they are a right-leaning company. I'm not sure, but I'm telling you, man, this multi-billion-dollar business of media, man, is going to be front and center. It is that now. It has been, but even more so now that we're playing a high-stakes game in this world of politics, left to right, win or lose. And right now the left is losing. The right is winning in terms of messaging, in terms of the consumption of content, the distribution of content. And again, once this merger, if it happens with Warner Brothers through Skydance, again, man, this is going to be an incredible display of mass communications going out that will be one-sided, unfortunately. Hopefully the left will have some viable media platforms, man, in which to get their message. If not, I'll tell you what I believe to be true. That the Democratic Party has probably seen the last of the White House for the next 20 years, 15 to 20 years, because the message is going to be coming so strong on the right through all the networks that they will own, all the media platforms that they will own, and all the billions and trillions of dollars that's going to be made from owning those platforms, man. It's going to be hard to get a message out there that can transform and change the minds of the American people. Maybe they'll be smarter than what they have been over the last year and two, but it's going to be a very tough time in that regards, man. But hey, I'm here creating content with my podcast channel and with my different titles of podcasts. As I said, CEO Exchange, Image Maker Series, and Speak the Truth. There's several others coming, but I hope to, in the next year or two, have solidified myself. I got me a website where I can also disperse the content that you can consume. But again, you have to subscribe. Don't forget to subscribe. Look, I'm Carl West. This is Speak the Truth. I'm out.
It's a beautiful day. Let the children play. They ain't feeling no pain. It's a beautiful day. Wake up in the morning, it's a wonderful feeling. It's good to be living, feel it all in my